Welcome back, folks. Greg Silverman here for another session of Come Learn with me. I'm your outsourced Chief Investment Officer and outsourced Chief Financial Officer. So if you need any help of a accounting or financial nature, take a look at some of the links below. We rate articles that do well on our social network, and then we read them in a Come Learn with me type session. We have a specific interest in really around uranium mining, something that we've been investing in for quite a considerable amount of time now. And we are very bullish on the prospect for nuclear power. So we're always on the lookout for articles that deal with nuclear. Obviously, nuclear has a big segment as far as defense is concerned. We're more interested in the power side of it, just to be clear about that. But anything that impacts the price of uranium is of interest to us. So this one I thought was quite interesting, given the current state of affairs. So fears for nuclear safety after shelling at Ukrainian power plant. And excuse the pronunciation on some of these names are but tricky for me. Ukrainian officials and international experts have been warning for months of the risk that fighting poses to a sprawling nuclear power plant on the banks of the Dnipro River in southern Ukraine. Earlier this week, the global nuclear watchdog said the situation was becoming increasingly perilous. Then on Friday, explosions rang out at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power complex. I hope I got that right, guys. The biggest of its kind in Europe, reigniting fears of potential disaster. Just for context, this was August 6th. I'm recording this on August 8th, so this is very, very recent. Moscow and Kiev have accused each other of shelling the plant, which was taken over by Russian forces in early March, along with the town of Enerhodar, where the complex is located. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky blamed Moscow for the attack, calling the strikes a brazen crime and an act of terror. Today, the occupiers created another extremely risky situation for everyone in Europe, he said in his nightly address on Friday. The Russian defense minister denied the claim, saying Ukrainians had carried out 3 artillery attacks on the plant and surrounding area. The ministry added that the generating capacity of 1 unit at the plant had been reduced and power supply to another cut. I mean, it does sound like brazen lies, doesn't it? When the Russians go on about it, but wow, look at that. Big chimneys. It almost looks like cartoonish, doesn't it? Like it's drawn into the picture. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is seen from afar. Okay. Ukraine's state-run nuclear power operator Energoatom accused Russian forces of hitting the Zaporizhzhia plant and using the complex as a staging ground for striking nearby targets, including many in the occupied city of Enerhodar and the nearby Ukrainian-controlled city of Nikopol. When fierce fighting first broke out near the facility in the early days of the war, it sparked fears of a nuclear incident and prompted condemnations from the international community. Russian troops forced its managers to work at gunpoint after seizing the plant on March 5th, according to Ukrainian nuclear officials. A week later, the Kremlin sent officials and technicians from Russia's state nuclear agency to help conduct repairs and manage the facility. Ukrainian and Russian staff have been working alongside each other since, and communication with the outside world has been intermittent. Energoatom said Friday that Russia's shelling had hit in and around the nuclear complex and damaged the water intake facility, cutting power and water to much of Enerhodar. So let's get it. It's the operational reactors. Permanently closed. Chernobyl, of course. South. There's Zaporizhzhia down here. 3 hits were recorded directly at the site of the station, the Ukrainian agency said, claiming that one was near one of the power units where the nuclear reactor is located. CNN was unable to verify claims of damage at the plant, which occupies a large site. Much of the recent Russian fire in the area has originated from near the plant, and it's unclear if parts of the nuclear facility were hit accidentally. Energoatom said on Saturday that the plant was operational and Ukrainian staff at the station continue to work to ensure radiation safety. Cheers, guys. Don't normally record these in the morning, so need a bit of caffeine. Ukrainian prosecutors have opened investigations into the incident. The Zaporizhzhia plant out of control. The exact danger posed by blasts in and around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant remains unclear. The head of International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, said in an interview with the Associated Press on Tuesday that the situation at the plant was completely out of control. Every principle of nuclear safety has been violated, he said, calling on Russia and Ukraine to allow experts to visit the site. What is at stake is extremely serious and extremely grave and dangerous. Other officials have been more measured. I guess you can have another Chernobyl, right? Just nuclear waste and heaven forbid. Other officials have been more measured, pointing to the fact that recent nuclear energy facilities are designed to withstand terrorist attacks and natural disasters. Several Western and Ukrainian officials believe that Russia is now using the giant nuclear facility as a fortress to protect their troops and stage attacks because they assume Kiev will not retaliate and risk a crisis. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking, right? US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday accused Moscow of using the plant to shield its forces, and Ukraine has warned that shelling at the complex could be disastrous. The possible consequences of hitting an operating reactor are equivalent to the use of an atomic bomb, right? Ukraine's foreign ministry said Friday on Twitter. The United Nations has said that the actions at the complex have undermined the safety of the plant's operations. Russian forces have probably used the wider facility area, in particularly the adjacent city of Enerhodar, to rest their forces, utilizing the protected status of the nuclear power plant to reduce the risk of their equipment and personnel from overnight Ukrainian attacks. Britain's Ministry of Defense said Friday in an intelligence update on Twitter. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? An intelligence update on Twitter. Yeah, just kidding, guys. The Ukrainian mayor of Enerhodar, Dmitry Orlov, said in late July that Russian forces had been observed using heavy weaponry near the plant because they know very well the Ukrainian armed forces will not respond to these attacks as they can damage the nuclear power plant. All right, well, morning sunlight coming in straight to me. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It's very interesting. It's very scary, actually. If you'd like to know some of the niche investment themes that we do work in, that we invest in, take a look down below. There's a link to some of what we call our mini LinkedIn groups. Take a look at the list there. If there's anything that strikes your fancy, please join it. We'd love to welcome you on board. And if you'd like to know more of how we can help you in a commercial sense, take a look at the links down below for Ritterban Invest or Ritterban CPAs. Well, that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Come learn with me. Please subscribe and like, and we will speak to you again next week. Take care. Greg Silverman, out for now.